More than 150 activists, including Greta Thunberg, are now in Israeli custody. The Israeli Navy intercepted a flotilla of boats trying to bring aid to Gaza, saying the boats were approaching an active combat zone. Now, Israel's accusing the flotilla of provocation, saying it warned them to change course. But several countries are condemning Israel's actions. ABC's Patrick Reevell has more on that story. Patrick, what's the latest as Israeli officials intercepted this flotilla? Now they say two are still floating by.
Hi, Dan. Yeah, Israel overnight intercepted this aid flotilla as it tried to approach Gaza. This flotilla was carrying both aid, but also people wanting to protest, attempting to highlight Israel's ongoing blockade of Gaza. And it was intercepted about 70 nautical miles from Gaza. We've seen video overnight showing heavily armed Israeli forces boarding the ships. Most of them are small civilian yachts. We see also from the live stream that there are some of the people on board coming out and sitting, raising their hands peacefully. They also report, and there are videos seeming to show water cannons being sprayed onto some of the boats. Now, the flotilla organizers say that an estimated around 440 people have been taken by Israeli forces, and they are now being taken to a port in Israel. They're expected then at some point to be deported. Israel accused the flotilla of trying to block a lawful naval blockade. The organizers of the flotilla point out that they were in international waters and that Israel has no jurisdiction to intercept them there. It has caused outrage among many countries. We've seen also protests overnight in many of the countries where people came from to take part in this flotilla, in Italy to Argentina. We've also seen Turkey condemn this, calling it banditry, and we've seen also a number of other countries criticize Israel for this. There was a remarkable thing as well that Spain and Italy had actually sent 2 warships to escort this flotilla as it crossed the Mediterranean after it came under attack from drones dropping flashbangs on it as it crossed the Mediterranean. And I think that underlines the level of anger there has been towards Israel over what it is doing in Gaza right now, Diane.
So, Patrick, how are world leaders reacting?
Yeah, we've seen pretty strong condemnation from a number of world leaders, including Turkey's President Erdogan, who called it banditry. Turkey's foreign ministry saying that, again, it was just terrorizing people, and basically criticism coming that this was international waters and that Israel does not have jurisdiction to do this. We've seen criticism as well from South Africa saying that this was a flagrant violation of international law. Interestingly, Israel's leader, Georgina Meloni, saying that she felt this was not a helpful thing for people in Gaza and criticizing the flotilla. But in general, I think there has been an outpouring of sympathy, and it has seen a lot of people say that this is drawing attention once again to what is happening in Gaza. But obviously Israel saying that it had a lawful blockade and that this was potentially going into an active combat zone. We're still waiting to know the exact number of people detained and when they will be deported or not, Diane.
And what's the latest on President Trump's peace deal? Any headway on getting Hamas to sign on?
There's still very little update on that right now. Honestly, we know that the president said he would give 2 to 3 days to Hamas to make a decision. So far, we have not heard from Hamas either way, whether they will accept it. We know that they're under a lot of pressure from countries in the region, including countries that have supported them in the past. We know that Turkey and Qatar are believed to be lobbying hard for the group to accept it. But ultimately, this plan contains elements that would essentially be a surrender for Hamas. It sees them having to hand over their weapons and to basically give up any type of governance in Gaza and potentially really go into exile. So they are expected really to vote themselves out of existence. So there is a lot of doubt whether they will go ahead and do that. This was ultimately really an ultimatum from President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu saying they must accept it or else the US will give its full backing to Israel to, quote, finish the job, Diane.
All right, Patrick Reevell, thank you.